Hello Cloud Gurus and welcome to Concepts and Components. This lecture is a high-level look at the AWS platform, and it's going to be broken down into two sections just to keep it under 20 minutes per lecture. So if we go ahead and have a look at the platform. The AWS platform is made up of various components. Starting from the bottom, we'll look at the AWS Global Infrastructure layer. The global infrastructure consists of 11 regions. Each region consists of multiple availability zones, and there are 52 edge locations at the time of this recording. Now, what do we mean by regions? Regions are geographical. Think places, i.e. the Western United States, Eastern United States, Ireland, Central Europe, etc. In each region, you have availability zones. Availability zones are separate data centers. If we take Ireland, for example, Ireland is the region, and this consists of 3 availability zones. Each region, as a minimum, consists of 2 or more availability zones. Edge locations are CDN endpoints. Basically, there are many more edge locations than there are regions. Currently, there are 52 edge locations around the world. These edge locations are used by CloudFront to cache files near the user where they access them. For example, if you are watching a movie on a website, it would be inefficient for users in Australia to access this movie if the movie was based in the United Kingdom. It would be much more efficient to cache that movie file at an edge location nearer the user. This reduces latency and increases the speed of the website. We'll explore this concept more in the next section when we discuss CloudFront. Okay, so we'll just explore each geographical zone, how many regions are in that geographical zone, and then we'll have a quick look at how many edge locations there are and also how many availability zones sit within each region. So in North America, we have US East, which is based in North Virginia. That consists of 5 availability zones. We have US West, which sits in Northern California, and that consists of 3 availability zones. We've got US West, which is in Oregon, and that consists of 3 availability zones. And then we've got the AWS GovCloud US, and that contains 2 availability zones. With AWS GovCloud, unless you're a member of the government, you would not be able to use this platform. It is restricted. If we look in South America, there's the Sao Paulo region. That consists of 2 availability zones, and that's currently the only region based in South America. In Europe, the Middle East, and Africa, we've got 2 regions. We've got EU, Ireland, which consists of 3 availability zones. This is the region that I use the most because I'm based in London, and throughout the course this will be the region that I'll be working out of. However, you can work out of whatever region is most suitable for you and your geographic location. The newest region in the Europe, and in fact in the world at the time of the recording, is the EU Central region, and this is based in Frankfurt in Germany. This consists of 2 availability zones. In APAC, or Asia Pacific, we have Asia Pacific Singapore region. This consists of 2 availability zones. We've got the Tokyo region. This consists of 3 availability zones. We've got the Sydney region, which consists of 2 availability zones. And we've got the Chinese or the Beijing region. And currently there's only 1 availability zone, but they are expanding this. And here's a list of all our different 52 edge locations. Again, this is used for things like CloudFront and Route 53, and we'll explore that in future lectures. Okay, so we've explored the global infrastructure. Let's move on to networking components of AWS. Networking is made up really of 3 different components. We've got Route 53. This is Amazon's DNS service. This basically allows you to host your domain name with Amazon. So the domain name that we're going to be using is in this course is called acloud.guru, and we'll be using Route 53 to serve this domain name to our end users. We also have Amazon Direct Connect. Amazon Direct Connect allows you to connect directly to where your virtual private cloud is located. Now, most enterprise customers will use things like MPLS networks, for example, and they will want to be able to extend their MPLS network into the Amazon data center. And you do this using Amazon Direct Connect. It allows you to put dedicated communications links into your Amazon data center and into your virtual private cloud, so you don't have to necessarily go over the internet to access it. And then we have Amazon Virtual Private Cloud. This is basically a virtual data center. Think of it as a collection of AWS resources. So inside your virtual private cloud, you'll have EC2 instances, you'll have EBS instances, you'll have your load balancers, etc. Just think of your virtual private cloud as basically a virtual data center. Okay, so far we've explored AWS Global Infrastructure and networking components. Now we'll move on to the compute elements. Compute consists of really 4 key services, the most famous of which is Elastic Cloud Compute, also known as EC2. Elastic Cloud Compute allows you to provision virtual instances inside your virtual private cloud. And these instances can be any flavor of Linux, from CentOS, to Ubuntu, to Red Hat, to OpenSUSE, to even Amazon's own flavor of Linux designed specifically for the AWS platform. You can also provision Windows instances. These would include things like Windows 2008, Windows 2012, Windows 2012 R2, etc. Amazon also provide a marketplace where you can purchase pre-built or pre-configured instances from third parties. Where you would use this is, say you worked in the insurance industry and you have to conform to certain regulations put to you by your regulators. This might be configuring your OS instance to meet the Center for Internet Security's hardening guidelines. Now, companies will go out and they'll configure a Windows VM, and they'll lock down that virtual machine to meet those specific hardening guidelines. They will then sell this on the AWS marketplace, and you will pay them a fee, which will be a few cents per hour, to use this instance. And it saves you the hassle of going in and having to do the hardening yourself. So the marketplace is there, and you can buy all kinds of different instances on there, and then they might be there to meet your security needs or your application needs. So make sure you check it out when we go through the EC2 section of our course. The second compute element is auto-scaling. This is perhaps one of the most famous aspects of the AWS cloud. Auto-scaling allows you to provision more virtual machines to handle load. Auto-scaling happens at a predefined, you can set alarms to trigger auto-scaling. So things like CPU utilization or perhaps disk I/O, and it happens in a predefined time frame. So you could say, auto-scale or add another 2 virtual machines if my CPU hits 80%, and then wait for 5 minutes before doing that scaling event again. Auto-scaling is great, and it's unique to the Amazon AWS platform, and we're going to go through it in the EC2 section of our course. And in the assignment, we'll configure auto-scaling groups to do exactly what I just said before, so that if CPU utilization hits 80%, then it will add an extra virtual machine to basically handle that load. Elastic Load Balancing is the third compute component of the AWS platform, and this basically acts as a load balancer to your web servers or to your application servers. Elastic Load Balancers, you can use your Route 53 DNS to point to your Elastic Load Balancer, and your Elastic Load Balancer will then distribute the traffic down to your EC2 instances. Your Elastic Load Balancer also has health check mechanisms, so it can detect whether an EC2 instance is alive, and if it has died, then it will remove it from the pool, and so your users will not notice that you're having an outage on a particular instance. And the final compute element is one of the newest components to the AWS platform, which is Amazon Workspaces, which is essentially a VDI platform which allows you to do virtual desktops. So you can run Windows 7 or Windows 8 instances in the cloud and use thin clients to access them. We won't actually be covering much about that on the course. You just need to know what it is from a high level. There's no hands-on demonstrations of that in this course. It isn't eligible for the free tier eligibility program, so it costs, I think it's about $37 a month to sign up for that. It's not in the exam in terms of knowing it from a deep technical point of view, but you do just need to be aware of it and what it is. Okay, so we're just going to end part 1 of this lecture here. In the next lecture we'll start with storage and then move on through the rest of the platform. If you've got the time, please join me in the next lecture. If not, thank you.